What's going on, everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this video. Recently, Bethesda just shared some major information over what's to come in the Wastelanders DLC in their new Inside the Vault article. In case you haven't kept up with what Bethesda has been sharing about the Wastelanders DLC, first off, it was supposed to be coming in November, but then they pushed that back into the quarter of next year. So it's going to be releasing sometime between January through March. Sometime in that time frame it will be released. But since that time they delayed it, they've been giving us updates over what's going to be coming in this massive DLC. It's going to be completely game changing by adding human NPC interaction in the game. The stuff they shared in the past is pretty much just like screenshots letting us soak in what's going to be coming. And they've also mentioned names as well, such as the Duchess and Mort that are from Wayward. Well, in this article, they have now dived a little deeper with these characters and what the Wayward is. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, everyone. I'm actually wearing a Fallout 76 Christmas sweater just because I feel like it's fitting for this video. Even though you can't even really tell I'm wearing a Fallout 76 sweater. Let's take off the overalls here and stand up. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, yeah, this is a little off topic. Let's go ahead and get into this information they recently shared. First, gotta get these back on. That was an awkward way to start off reading about this information, but hey, you know, it's a Fallout 76 sweater and I'm talking about Fallout 76, so it's not that off topic, I guess. Anyways, they started off this Inside the Vault by saying, say hello to the Wayward, Duchess, and Mort. Which the Wayward is actually a new instance area that we're going to be introduced to. I'll get more into detail about that here soon. But anyways, Bethesda said, when we've shared screenshots from our upcoming Wastelanders update in the past, some of you seemed intrigued by Duchess and Mort, who happen to be two new characters you will meet early on in your adventures. We thought you might like to learn a little bit more about them, as well as the starting experience in Fallout 76 when Wastelanders arrives. So this will be pretty much what we'll be first introduced to in the Wastelanders DLC. It's pretty cool to know. Anyways, they go on and say whether you are a new dweller stumbling out of the cozy confines of Vault 76 for the very first time, or an experienced wasteland explorer, you may want to stop by the vault to meet Lacey and Isella. As you can see, this is Lacey and Isella, and we're that Vault 76 dweller right there, talking to them. These curious settlers are on the hunt for answers to questions that brought them to Appalachia in the first place, and might be able to help newer players on their journey. In exchange for your answers, they will also lead you toward the Wayward. So this will be what we'll first head to in the very beginning of the Wastelanders questline. As you can see, this is the Wayward. Anyways, Bethesda goes on and says, the Wasteland has been evolving since people have begun to return. As you explore, you will find many locations are now inhabited or have been built up as more arrivals seek new lives in Appalachia. One such encampment is the Wayward, a fledgling watering hole not far from the Overseer's camp in the forest. Inside this new instance location is where you will meet Duchess and Mort. Which, real quick, to get you all caught up with what these instanced areas are, pretty much what we do in our questline will stay in effect in that instanced area. This is how Bethesda is getting our choices to actually coexist in an online Fallout game. So the choices that we make in this instance area will actually chain react our gameplay, but we will only see it since it's an instanced area. Other players that go in their instance area, they won't see what we chose to affect the place, if that makes sense. Which I think that's pretty smart of Bethesda to do that. After all, that is what the players are wanting. Not exactly an instance area, but our choices to actually affect the game in some sort of way. Anyways, now let's go ahead and get into more of these details they just recently shared. Bethesda goes on and says about the Wayward that Duchess is the stalwart owner and the proprietor of the Wayward, which she built and brought into Appalachia in hopes of providing an inviting atmosphere and stiff drinks to anyone seeking a place to recharge, for a fee, of course. So yeah, this is Duchess right here with the old possum t-shirt on. And you can see Mort in the background, as you can see. I'm kind of curious on how he became a ghoul. I wonder if he'll get into detail about that, or if Duchess will or something. Anyways, back to the article. It says, recently, Duchess had a string of visitors stop in, asking some very pointed questions and acting aggressively. That sounds like some raiders. While she and Mort are more than capable of handling a few troublesome patrons, they wouldn't refuse a bit of help finding out who these people are and what they are after. As the Wayward's most loyal regular, Mort spends quite a bit of time there, running up his bar tab and lending a hand to Duchess when needed. Mort's also got a knack for exploring. He has traversed a large portion of the forest and has managed to figure out how camps work. If you ever need a bit of insight into the surrounding area or a refresher on camps, Mort's your ghoul. Before I get more into this, that's just great to know how Bethesda is actually introducing the first quest line and how it appropriately helps newer players. So that just goes to show, even if you are a brand new player, the Wastelanders DLC is pretty much just a fresh start to Fallout 76. Honestly, this should have been how Fallout 76 started, but you know, you heard the beginning. Bethesda didn't actually have plans for human NPCs to be in the game. Well, that's what they said anyways. But yeah, that's just great to know, because I already know Fallout 76 is going to get a load of new players when this Wastelanders DLC actually officially releases. Now let's go to get back into more of this information. I just wanted to point that out real quick, that Bethesda is making it so this DLC is friendly with new players. The article goes on and says, Duchess and Mort are just two of the many people and characters you'll meet during your travels after we've released Wastelanders. One of our main goals with this update isn't just to add NPCs to push your story forward, but to help Appalachia feel much more alive now that people are making their way back into this area. You will not only encounter new faces during the main story, but throughout the game you'll encounter new encounters in combat, encampments, and even as they go about their daily lives. So that just goes to show, while we're just randomly exploring Appalachia, we're going to be encountering human NPCs in the oddest places. Anyways, they said, we believe Appalachia will feel much more lively when Wastelanders launches next year, and we can't wait to see what you think. I know some of you may disagree with me on this, because I can completely understand why, but I want them to actually release Fallout 76 Wastelanders DLC in January. The reason why is because they'll have more eyes now on the radar over certain things that are happening in the game, and Bethesda will be able to fix the certain bug scenarios that are happening. Because after all, we aren't really planned no more content after this for a little while. So that gives Bethesda time to fix problems that players report with this new DLC. I don't think it'd be possible to have a Fallout 76 Wastelanders beta, just because, you know, once they update it into the game, I don't think they can take back that update. I don't really know if they could actually release a Fallout 76 Wastelanders DLC beta, because it's not, after all, a whole new game. It's just an update to the game, which is insane to think about. There's going to be tons and tons of new content for us. It's going to feel like a completely new game. They even mentioned that. We got new enemies, new human NPCs, new instance areas, and heck, like pretty much all of the human NPCs that we're going to be interacting with, we got multiple choices to select from, and those contain, you know, voice dialogue. So it does take quite a bit of work to have a human NPC in the game with multiple choices to interact with. Speaking of new enemies that we're going to be encountering, I'm pretty excited to find out what the Wendigo Colossal is. This creature here in the game. Yeah, it's an evolved form of the Wendigo, obviously, but how? Is this kind of like a new boss that we're going to be fighting, like the Scorchbeast Queen? Or is this just another regular old huge enemy that we're going to be encountering, like a Deathclaw or a Mega Sloth? I'm pretty excited to face this thing. Also, I'm pretty interested in these new cultist areas that are going to be added in the Wastelanders DLC. In case you don't know, the cultist is a faction that we're going to be able to join up with. I'm interested in knowing a little bit more lore about them. I have a feeling they involve majorly with the interloper that dwells at the bottom of the Lucky Hole mine. That thing is extremely creepy. I'm hoping the interloper becomes some sort of boss fight that'll happen in the game, like the Scorchbeast Queen. We need more fights like that, and I'm just extremely hopeful that we'll sooner or later be introduced to that a little more, because that is a great aspect about the game. Bringing everyone in the server to fight a certain boss in the game, I feel like is an awesome aspect on it, and they just have to keep hammering down on that aspect to make it even better. But anyways, back to this Inside the Vault. They also shared a little bit more, except not on the Wastelanders DLC. They mentioned though about their Steam update. Earlier this year, they had announced that Fallout 76 would be coming to Steam in 2019, and since then they've received questions from some of us who are curious about when this will actually happen. And they said that their launch on Steam is still on the way, but we've moved it closer to the Wastelanders release in 2020. We don't have additional details to share on this right now, but we will let you know as soon as we do. It's awesome to know that this is also coming to Steam, because that's just going to bring even more players on board. Anyways, also some other news coming to Fallout 76 is that the Purveyor will now hold a holiday mystery pick, and this will be active on Tuesday, December 24th to December 31st on Tuesday again. So here in a few days we will be introduced to this. Which, by the way, this holiday mystery pick from the Purveyor will cost 60 script, and it will give us a random 3-star legendary item. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to have better luck out of this or not, but it is going to cost 40 script cheaper than what a typical 3-star legendary item would cost. Typically it costs us 100 legendary script. So yeah, keep that in mind. I may do a huge grand opening of this holiday mystery pick just to give more players a sense of awareness of what you can possibly get out of this, and if it does better your luck or not. But yeah, this is going to be the last Inside the Vault article from Bethesda for this year. They mentioned this in this Inside the Vault. But when they return, they said they do plan to share even more Wastelanders preview content with us. I'm assuming we're going to be getting some gameplay footage in the next Wastelanders preview. So far, they've only shared screenshots. But yeah, either way, I am super stoked for this Wastelanders DLC to finally be introduced into Fallout 76. I have been waiting for what feels like forever, but I know it really hasn't. It's just my most anticipated game to play, and it's not even a new game, it's just an update in a game. Anyways, I'm out of here, everyone. Thanks for taking the time watching and listening. Remember to leave a like if you found this enjoyable, and hey, maybe subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, remember to try to stay safe out there. Peace.